Okay, we're back. This is Rob Schneider, and of course, I'm with the lovely, talented, gorgeous, amazing, talented. I already said talented.
You already said talented.
I'm sorry.
But I'll take it.
Patricia Maya.
Yes, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Love of my life. Light of my world.
The Mexican with the mostest. Anyway, we took a break for a couple of weeks. We did not do a podcast, and we're back. We're back.
We're back.
And we took a break. Well, there was a fire again.
Yes.
This was the 1 year anniversary of the fire, and to celebrate,
We had another fight.
we had another fire, so we had to leave again. And we went down to make a little holiday of it, right?
Yeah. Newport Beach.
Newport Beach, which is really nice, by the way.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it seemed like in a way.
Why aren't we living there?
I don't know. But it's very, very nice down there. I liked it. California is great. I spent my whole life here, but I feel like California is it's like being in an abusive relationship and you just can't afford to get out, right?
Yes.
Is that what you say? Is that how you describe it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like you want to get out, you don't know how to get out.
You're crying all the time.
Yes. You're unhappy with
You're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and then you focus on the good things to make it better.
You think about how you don't want to pack.
Yes. And the weather, and then you start thinking about the weather, and then you
Yeah.
forget about the fires.
And then you forget about the fire.
Death.
We had a fire and an earthquake in the same day. You know how many times I've had to hold back from like just shaking the bed to scare the shit out of you? And I don't do it because I know that you would get really scared, but I don't do it. But I do think about it a lot.
I have to say that sometimes I don't know if it's
What?
if there's an earthquake or you're just scratching your butt or something. I swear. Sometimes it's like when the bed is shaking a little
Yeah.
bit, I always have to turn and look.
See if I'm doing something.
See if you're doing something.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because I gotta say that sometimes you're scratching your leg or your butt or something and it moves. It moves.
I'm not a dog, you know.
I swear it moves. Well, it's because our bed is
We have one of those healthier beds.
yes.
It's basically it's not a real bed. It's like it's pieced together with like this toxic foam ingredients. That's like we got it from the guy. What do you call that place? It's an organic place. It's
Yes, it's in Sherman Oaks. It's the Green Thief.
the Green Thief. Basically, he sells you stuff and says it's healthy and
it's-
charges you 10 times more.
It's ridiculously pricey.
It's like, you have like, instead of your baby sleeping on foam, which is like this polyurethane, that releases, gases, all that foam and everything in the couches. That's the thing about the fires that were burning up here,
Yeah.
It wasn't like the wood and the brush that the firemen had to deal with. It's like the television sets and the couches and the beds, which is all this foam and toxic shit that they're breathing in while they're trying to fight the fires.
Yeah.
So anyway, he makes beds out of like,
Supposedly.
yeah, supposedly makes it out of like,
Because I gotta say I'm not 100% sure about that. I know
You're
you
the
are.
most.
I know
you
you
are not what I would call trusting. Whatever the opposite of that is.
Yes.
Like absolutely cynical to the bone, to the Mexican bone. You are a cynic. You never trust anything, and you go, "Yeah, that's what he said. That's what they say. Sure, that's yeah. If you want to believe that, it's everything. Whatever, anywhere we buy, anywhere we fly, anywhere we go, that's what I get. So
Well,
I'm glad you. Let me tell you what.
Let me tell you something.
Here it comes. Here's another one.
Yes. I remember years and years and years and years ago.
Okay, here it comes.
When we went, where were we? In
I
Singapore?
should say I should finish the last sentence though. It's just that
Okay,
he
go ahead.
makes the beds like the children's bed, the crib bed, out of like wool. There's like a bag of wool in there, and the
Yes.
kid sleeps on wool,
Yes.
and it's like better for you.
It's not. No. Yes, but he also makes the actual crib.
Yeah,
So it's not only mattresses. So we bought from him
yeah.
the bed frame.
Well, the frame comes from like Ohio, from like these Amish people, and they don't know how to make toxins. 'Cause they just-
Wasn't Ohio
They're
the
out
place
there.
where the pond was contaminating the water? So maybe our bed is more toxic than any other bed in the world.
Maybe. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saying we're in Singapore.
Yes.
Let's get back to the story.
Yes. We'll get back to the Green Thief because I'm not done with him, by the way. But yes, I think we were in Singapore. Where were we? Remember that there was
Were there a lot of East Indian people selling stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning and we're still shopping?
We were
That's a good thing
shopping.
about, like, because there's no malls there in Singapore. Singapore is the most capitalist city I've ever been to in the world. And it's expensive, and it's not too much traffic, because if you want to drive downtown, they have these parking meters. No, I'm sorry. You have to have these, like, metered things on your car, the dashboard. You know, one of the fast pass kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you drive downtown in Singapore, it's like $50. So, like, even rich people don't go there. That's the weird thing about, like, you got to understand, like, America is completely ass backwards about, like, if you want to punish people, you have to punish them in a way that they get punished. Like, if you give somebody a speeding ticket for $250, $300, somebody that could, like, cripple them, or they're gonna have to work an extra weekend or take 2 weekends off, or they're gonna blah 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 work an extra week to pay. But if you, a rich guy, Robert Redford got a ticket on the on I-5, and then they got us in the news, because the asshole guy talked about it, and he can afford that. No, I think the policeman told somebody, the highway patrolman. I'm sure he's a good guy.
I thought you were calling Robert Redford an asshole because he talked about it. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I'm sorry. Well, I don't make complete sentences that make sense. So anyway, if you're a listener, you know that by now. So
yeah, so if you're rich, you can afford that.
Well, here's the thing, though. In Sweden, they tax you. I'm sorry. Yeah, in Sweden, you get taxed. You get a ticket directly proportional to your income.
Oh, really?
So, for instance, if you're going 55 miles over the speed limit here, you go if you're going like 35 and you're going 90, you get like a $500 ticket. That's the maximum, $500 or $1,000, right? They had this guy who was the heir to, like, the what's the shitty IKEA thing? Like, the guy to that, IKEA?
What? Yeah, I know IKEA.
Okay, well, one of the heirs to that, he is a billionaire. He's a kid, his son of whatever. He got pulled over for going 50 miles over the speed limit. They fined him proportionately to his income. He had to pay a $250,000 fine, and that's spanked. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got a few million bucks. If you got $250,000, that's a spanking, especially when they tax you 70% up there. So back to Singapore.
Yeah, but if you give that ticket to Salma Hayek's husband, probably it's not a lot of money.
Probably not. He could deal with it.
He can deal with that. He's the owner of.
He gave $100 million to the Notre Dame.
I know.
It's pretty nice, huh?
I know. That's amazing.
Could have given more.
Shut up. How much did you give?
Could have given less. Let me tell you what I did give. My heart.
Oh.
I gave a tweet and an Instagram.
Oh, that's that.
Of our daughter crying.
Thank you.
And saying it was about that. Beautiful little girl. Our girl.
I know.
Madeline. She had a little tear. And I said, oh, man, because I was showing her the fire. And she cried, She didn't know what it was about. But I know she saw that I was sad. But anyway, $100 million he gave. Could have given more. Could have given less.
You know what? What is that?
It's an airplane. Fire. I don't know. We live in Calabasas.
I gotta say,
California's an abusive relationship for sure.
Yes.
Living here.
It's
agree. Abusive.
I agree.
Okay, so you're in Singapore. You're trying to get the story, and I'm interrupting.
Okay.
You're in Singapore. Some fake thing. So what's I'm guessing what's happening. Going to come.
Where was the place where you wanted to buy that tiny little rock that supposedly was like 300 years old?
Some market with rocks.
Okay. So here's why Rob says that I don't believe in things, but I think
one thing you find.
Well, no. I think.
But anyway, how can anybody?
I think I'm reasonable about my doubts. So we're in this place. There's like this lady is selling these little rocks
that have like a design on it.
Yes, and then Rob asks the price for this one, and this rock is like $500. But it's not even a big rock. Is it like a bead?
Yeah, these are beads. These are like supposedly old Chinese beads or something.
So here, this lady is like, oh yeah, this is $500. And Rob is like mesmerized by it. He really likes it. And
it was shiny.
Oh God. So anyways, then right next to that one.
Yeah, here it comes.
There were the other ones that looked just like it. And those were like $10.
Yeah.
So I just asked the woman, I said, so what's the difference between this one and the other one? It's a lot of money for a bead.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, this one is over 300 years old. and this one isn't. And I said, okay, where's the paper that says that? Or where's the proof? Right? I mean, it's like, I know you're saying that it is. And it's not that I don't believe you.
Where's the testing?
But I need a little bit more than that. I need more than your worth. Yeah. So anyway, so she said...
You don't trust this woman who was able to get a booth that sells rocks? You don't trust that in some strange country, Singapore?
Well, no, I don't trust anyone. It's not only that I didn't trust her. I just want to see, like, why you're going to pay $490 more. so anyway, so she says, oh, you can tell that this one has like these red dots if you look with the magnifier. And the other one, basically she was saying that it's not a real one and doesn't have the red dots. And I looked through the magnifier and they both were the same. So, no.
Yeah.
No. So those are the kind of things that Rob says that I don't trust.
But you're cynical in nature. Like, you were cynical about stuff. Like
what?
Like, no. I mean, I'm sure, like, when we go out to eat or something that says organic, we go, you never know. Because you don't know.
No, you know what? You are the one who actually doesn't believe about the organic food.
Well, but it's because organic, just because it says organic, doesn't necessarily mean. It's also, there's different, there's different, like for instance, they still use pesticides. There's different kinds of pesticides. It's supposedly more organic or doesn't have inorganic substances in it that are, whatever. I don't know.
No, but I
feel bad. I sleep better at night in the bed that's supposedly organic. That's supposedly, it's not very comfortable.
I have to say that
supposedly
it's not even
toxic.
comfortable.
Yes.
It's not even comfortable.
I know you loved our old toxic bed.
I love my old toxic mattress.
I know you did, right?
Yes, it was very
What was it? What did you like about that one?
Well, it was comfortable.
Is that a big deal for a bed for you?
Yeah. I mean,
really?
I think my sleep, is important. And when you have a nice
That's
mattress,
more important than not being toxic when you sleep?
Yes.
See, here's a gross thing about beds. Beds gain weight over the years.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's why you can't have a bed for that long. They gain. Why do you think they gain weight?
Oh, God, because he has... give me 1 second.
Yes.
Yes, exactly, because of your oils and
sweat, skin,
farts, probably.
Farts, yeah.
Everything.
90% of that weight is farts.
Yeah.
But no, it's your sweat and the skin, and it adds up, and then the bed gets heavier. So you got to throw it out. And so these ones, these non-toxic organic beds, woolish kind of material and stuff.
Supposedly.
I don't know if they gain weight or not.
Of course, they have to, because you're also sweating in them.
Yeah, but it absorbs it and then it makes it disappear magically.
It doesn't.
No, it just...
You're right. You're right. The green thief, he said that there's a fairy that comes in the middle of the night. The green fairy comes and takes away all the sweat. You're right.
Anyway.
I
hope our listeners aren't throwing up right now.
Yes.
How about this coffee? This is good shit.
I know,
right?
this is good coffee.
It's hard to give up coffee when it's this good, right? Why don't you tell people what kind of coffee this is?
I don't know. Which kind is it?
Well, it's from Erewhon, which is that's our specialty crazy store. That's the healthy, that's the grocery thief store.
Exactly.
But you get the best. They're the best.
Yes.
You're paying for it. You're paying out the nose. But it's the absolute best of the best of the best. It's the best grocery store in the world. Outside of the beautiful...
I don't know if it's the best grocery store in the world.
Well, I mean, if you outside of those beautiful places, like in Paris.
I think if you go to any mercado in Europe, probably you're going to have better...
produce and stuff. Well, more, yeah, but I'm talking about the cooked food is amazing.
The cooked food is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the people are great. I love them. But tell about the coffee you're drinking, that we're drinking. It's hard to give up coffee because it's like espresso coffee beans, organic, green thief coffee beans that don't absorb your sweat while you're sleeping, and with cream.
I know that cream is really good.
Yeah, it's raw cream, not And I you know what? If I drink like
I don't know if it's 100% raw.
It says raw.
Well, that's what it says.
It says raw. It's like the first word on it. Raw, green thief. You are very gullible. It says gullible raw milk. The gullible is on the label. It's by the brand Gullible. You're gullible. You'll pay $5 more.
Are you gullible? Would you consider yourself a gullible person?
I'm going to answer that question this way.
Okay.
Yes. No, I'm going to say I'm going to say this because the truth of the matter is we are all. I like to say this.
No, we all
I like
are.
to say this a lot. and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it
Okay,
several
say
times.
it.
We are all ignorant,
Yes.
just about different things. Like everyone's ignorant. It's just about different things. I mean, Albert Einstein was probably ignorant about
hairstyles.
Yes, obviously, and socks. He didn't know anything about socks. He never wore them. So he had that was a gap in his knowledge. I don't have that problem because I wear many different socks, the ones I'm wearing now by Timberland.
Ooh.
They're very warm, and it's time you need them now because if you don't live in California or in Southern California like we do, you people don't know the suffering we have to do. Sometimes you wake up in early November in Southern California, and it's in the low 50s. And we have to deal with that for an hour before it gets back up in the 80s.
Yes.
And that's not including the fires, which bring it up to the 90s, and the smoke.
Yes.
I carry, speaking of California, I carry one of those masks, those breathing masks, in the car. And it's your mask. It's pink.
Oh.
I got that one for you.
Thank you, darling.
But yet I'm using it because I love you.
I'm glad you're using it.
Okay, so Singapore. Did you finish that story?
Yeah, well, yeah.
The Rock?
Yeah, exactly.
But didn't you love I know we only talk about food.
I know. Let's not talk about food, but the food was delicious.
It was unbelievable. Let's really know. They got, this guy, when you eat at the airport, when you land, there's good food there.
Yeah.
And then it's good.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so let's talk about being gullible.
Okay, all right. What are you gullible about?
What I am
'Cause I know.
gullible about? Okay, you tell me what am I gullible about?
Geez, that's pretty good. You're cynical about everything. What do you believe that I think you're full of shit about? You're gullible about TV shows.
About TV shows? Like what?
Yeah. You think Peaky Blinders is a great fucking show, and I'm gonna go,
No, but that doesn't have to be gullible. That doesn't have anything.
I'm
to
sorry.
do with
You have
being
bad
gullible.
taste in TV.
That's different. Exactly. That's different. That's called bad
Gullible.
taste.
Okay, gullible. You believe stuff. I don't know. I mean, you're pretty good about that. You question a lot of things.
Yeah.
It takes me a while to convince you something. You
Well,
never.
Sometimes I just pretend that I
You agree to get me
that
shut
I
up.
agree just to move on.
That's
Yes.
not fair. Now I'm going back in my mind and thinking about what the hell you've agreed to. Well, gullible. Let me think. What have you? If I think, I don't know. Really.
Yeah, because I don't think I am.
Yeah, you're not that gullible. I take it back.
Yeah.
I think you're cynical about everything. You don't believe anything. I think you believe some things.
I believe some things.
But you wear. It has to wear on you for a while. You weigh things a lot, I think. I think maybe with when we talked about Friends recently, and I think sometimes I think you're very measured in your thinking, kind of scientific, like your dad. Your dad's a scientist. And do you think you have that kind of mind? I think you do.
Yes, I do a lot of. Yes, I agree. I measure people before I become friends with them.
And you can,
and even during the friendship,
I
measure
you keep
them.
you're always.
I keep on measuring them, and if I realize that they're not true friends, then I don't speak to them ever again. I walk away. I walk away from the friendship. Yes, yes, I do. Yeah.
Let that be a lesson for you people out there.
Exactly.
Friends of Patricia Maya.
My friends, please. If you
any stories you want to talk about that, or you talk about am I gullible? I think I am gullible.
I think you are gullible. You know where I think you're the most gullible with?
What?
With things to buy.
Oh yeah.
You're the most like if somebody says this thing belong to blah blah blah, and I don't have proof of it, but you do actually trust people.
I want to. That's the weird thing about collectibles. Is that there was a great book on collectibles, like collectible sports cards and autographs and signed gloves and baseball mitts and all this stuff. And the FBI did a sting in San Diego back in the early 90s, 93, I think it was. And it's a great book called Foul Ball. And it was a, because they give the name for when they do a investigation, and the name of the investigation was Foul Ball. And it was basically this one guy in San Diego, which he would get stoned. like smoke, like really high. You know, I'm sure they have that now, but like they started to become very powerful marijuana when that started in the early 90s. So everything was else. You know, remember when you first started smoking pot in California? It's like, are you high? I don't feel anything. Do you feel anything? I think I feel something. I don't know. And then you were coughing, so you felt kind of high from the depletion of oxygen in your brain more than the THC levels or whatever. And so this guy would get baked, and then he would look and study autographs of, like, you know, Mickey Mantle. And he would perfect it because the Mickey Mantle had this beautiful signature where he basically had, like, you know, this looping M, and there's like and another looping M, and this like a big open, like, you know, almost like a circle on the M. You know, it was like a teardrops. It was like teardrops in his Mickey, the first M, and then Mantle had like two teardrops for the beginning of the M's. And beautiful signature. And Joe DiMaggio, also another beautiful signature. So he figured out how to do these things. And then he made tens of thousands of these things and flooded the market. What happened was he got this guy who just happened to have, because you have to have an authentication thing, right? So they just got this guy named DiMaggio because he had a real name. DiMaggio was like, it wasn't Joe DiMaggio, the great Yankee Clipper, the great Yankee legend. It was just a guy named like
DiMaggio,
like Fred DiMaggio, literally. And so they said, we'll just put DiMaggio on there and we'll keep the Fred thing out. It was a DiMaggio certifications, and he would just sign fucking anything in his name. So so
that's mean.
So these guys, they flooded the market
and smart.
So they flooded the market with all these incredible fakes, and he really had a beautiful signature. And then like, and then when it got exposed, cutting to the chase, the people who bought this stuff and it's hanging on their wall, they go, I don't want to know if it's fake. I don't know. Let's just leave it up there. I don't want to, you know. So there, I mean, most of the people go, I don't want to know. And the truth of the matter is, like in the Louvre, the most famous potential fake in the history of the world would be the most famous painting in the world, which would be
Mona Lisa.
Yes, which is actually not painted on paper or a canvas. It's painted on wood, which is easy to test. So what happened was in 1911, I think, or 1909. I think it was from 1909 to 1911. There was this Italian guy. If I can get the computer up, he stole. He was like a part-time worker, janitor at the Louvre when they had one security guy on just at the very entrance to the Louvre. This is a very trusting time, 108 years ago, 110 years ago, and so he said, this is the painting, this is the Mona Lisa, that's from Leonardo. Leonardo da Vinci is supposed to be an Italian. He should be in Italy. Not knowing that it was given to King James of France, and it was always supposed to be French because it was given by Leonardo to the King of France. So anyway, this guy being a janitor, not art historian, he stole the thing. He literally like stayed overnight on like a Sunday night and slept in the stairwell. And then took his smock off, took the painting right off the wall, and then covered it with his smock, walked out the front door with the smock on, and nobody knew. And seriously, nobody even knew that it was gone for hours until this one lady who was she was a nun, and she would go her once a day and to go check out the Mona Lisa, which is actually a very smallish, you know, painting on wood, and it was just the outline of it was there, and she goes, you know, are you guys? She just assumed somebody was cleaning it or whatever, and so she told somebody, and they just assumed, the person she told assumed that they must be cleaning it. Obviously, you know, people didn't fucking steal paintings in 100 years ago, right? They're not like a paranoid like everybody is now. It's enclosed in glass and armed guards. You know, people tried to stab it before. This is a gentler time. Okay. So anyway, like a day later, they go, no one cleaned the fucking painting. Somebody must have stole the painting. And then it became like a sensation all over the world. Who stole the painting? And so they started interviewing people, every employee, blah, blah, blah. But it was for a long time, this guy...
They didn't realize that this guy was not working there anymore?
They did. Well, they finally interviewed the guy.
He was still working there.
He was still working there. Okay. And I think, but, you know,
I think you're making up this story. This is what I think is happening.
This is how I know
now.
you're cynical and I'm gullible. No, but here's the deal. So what happened was he put it underneath his bed. And then there was just somebody found out about this guy named the Marquis. And the story is that the Marquis, who was this criminal, made several copies of this Mona Lisa and sold it for $100,000 to like Henry Ford and another $100,000 to this other industrialist, which is like $100,000 in 1910 is the $10 million of today, right? So at one point there were like 3 copies and the original underneath this guy's bed because he didn't want it to leave his house. They had to paint it and do the copies in this guy's little tiny apartment in Paris.
Okay.
So at one point, he didn't know which painting was which after a while. And they just, and still, and then it was sold, and who knows? And the one that Henry Ford bought for, $100,000, you don't know if that was whatever, and where that was. He never admitted it, supposedly. So here's the deal.
Okay.
The point is that the Louvre knows that story. When it finally got found out, and then they found it again, it was literally, when the investigators did go and talk to that guy, I should look up his name, who stole. Can you?
I'll look for it.
Okay, who stole? Anyway, when the investigators went to go talk to him, they literally talked to him, and it was underneath the table and just literally covered where they were talking to him when they interviewed him. It finally got out, and then what he did was, how it got discovered was he brought it back to Italy, and then wanted to sell it for, I think, $50,000 or $50,000 to the Uffizi in Florence.
Vincenzo Perugia.
Perugia. How did I forget that name?
Perugia.
Perugia, right? And he's got like a flippy eye, He's got like one of those wandering eyes, always looking for paintings to take off walls. So anyway, he took it to the Uffizi to sell it, and they wanted to authenticate it. They told him, well, we need a day to authenticate it, and then we'll pay you. Blah blah blah. And so he then they just arrested him. The next day. After they checked it out, and then instead of giving it right back to the Louvre, which really pissed off all of France, they decided to in Italy. Of course, the Italians said, "Hey, we got it here. Why do we have to send it back right away? Why don't we do a little tour first, huh?" So they did a tour of it all through Italy for like 10 months, and it really pissed off people at the Louvre and then and everyone in France. And then they returned it to the French. But the interesting point is, they have never tested the Mona Lisa. And it would be very easy to do, because if it's less than 400 years old or 450 years old, then it's a fake. It was one of the fakes. They've never tested it, and they've been asked to test it. To this day, the Louvre has never tested that, because why would they want to? Who wants to know that it's fake? It's the number one attraction of the Louvre. So to them, they gain nothing from it. And so, Perugia. Vincenzo, is that his name?
Yes. All right, so here comes like the parts of your story that weren't true. He was not working there.
He wasn't working, but he did spend the night there.
No, he entered at 7 a.m. And
he spent in the stairwell. He spent the night in the stairwell. First of all, don't go off Wikipedia, because they're full of shit. Don't go off Wikipedia. They're full of shit.
Okay. All right, then.
No.
Anyways.
But he said he wasn't an employee there?
No, he wasn't an employee. He was a thief. He was a famous thief from Italy, and that was like his most famous
He wasn't a famous thief. This guy was like a loser.
Well, that's what they said, that he
was famous after that.
After, yeah.
He was an idiot, this guy. Look at him. Look at that mustache on his face. No, but he wasn't an employee there?
No, he wasn't.
He hid in the stairwell.
Well, he hid somewhere. Anyways, yeah. No, he was an Italian thief, most famous for stealing the Mona Lisa.
And nothing else was he ever famous for. Most famous, like he had something else.
He was most
like
famous
he didn't steal like the statue
of David. For the Mona
David.
Lisa and a bunch of watches.
Perugio.
Okay, so supposedly the Uffizi Gallery,
yes,
those are the ones who authenticated the painting.
That's right. That's what I just said. I said he took it back to Italy. The Uffizi's in Florence, where they have those beautiful Botticelli paintings. You know, the girl standing in the seashell? Botticelli?
Yes.
Well, that one's there. So anyway, he took it to sell it there like an idiot. Like, oh, no, they'll be fine with me selling it. You know.
Do you know that he was released from jail after a short time?
Yeah.
And then he served in the Italian army during World War I.
What a good guy.
Yeah.
Patriot.
Yeah. But then he returned to France and continued to work as a painter, decorator, using his birth name, Pietro Perugia. That was his birth
I don't blame him for changing his name. That's his birth name, Pietro? Beautiful.
Anyways.
And that reminds me of the great joke in...
so he was a painter, decorator.
That was my favorite joke in the whole of The Producers by Mel Brooks. Said Hitler... He said, here's the Nazi guy saying, Hitler was a wonderful painter. He could paint an entire apartment in an afternoon.
Oh, God. Jeez.
Good joke, huh?
That's
He could paint an entire apartment in an afternoon. He's a marvelous painter.
Hey, so anyways.
Okay.
So what else? So
gullible.
But you actually believe people when they say... These belong to this.
Because I want to believe it.
No, question. Because
let me just tell you, like, because like the greatest forgery story. We should. Have we talked about that?
Which one?
Well, the greatest forgery story of America in the 20th century is the guy's name. He was a Mormon who hated the Mormon church in Salt Lake City. And he created what he was trying to destroy the church. So what he did was he created these fakes, and he said he found these letters, and he would get old parchment paper or old book, whatever. So it was old paper, and he would get like old ink or whatever. And he would do these brilliant letters, and supposedly it was from,
from God?
No, from the founders of the Mormon Church, and it was the founders of the church. Well, there's a guy. Can you look it up? The founders of Mormon.
Hey, the Book of Mormon was amazing, by the way.
I know, it's great, and it was actually very popular in Salt Lake City because what a great sense of humor people Mormons have.
All right, so where we're looking for founders of the Mormon.
Yeah, a Mormon, Church of the Latter-day Saints. So this guy copied these letters, proving some of the early, stuff as a setup from some of the founders of the...
Joseph Smith?
Joseph Smith, yeah. So there's... And the guy after Joseph Smith. Some of the very early, members of the church and, the founders of the church. And so he wrote these letters, and then the church was happy to have them and wanted to believe it. And that's the key to it, is he created stuff that they wanted to believe, which is part of the thing. Just like when if I see something, it's like, well, Marlon Brando wore that. Well, I believe that. I want to believe that, So it's that thing. Okay. So so he created. I believe that. So he sucked them in, and I found this in a book, and blah blah blah, and they okay, it's real, and it was like proof that this guy really was there, and that he did say these things, but he was sucking them in, and he finally at the end he had this thing called the salamander letters, which is basically like Joseph Smith was out in the woods, and all the church doctrine was told to him by a salamander, basically like a snake. Oh, this giant salad, and they're like, "Oh my God!" So he was trying to destroy the religion.
Or maybe he was just high and he thought the salamander was talking to him.
Well, what it really was he was using this as a way to destroy the church, and because he hated the church that much. And then what happened was he got caught because he ran out of money. What happened was he was running out of money, and so he needed to do another fake. So what he did was he could do anything. He was the greatest forger of the 20th century. And what he did is he did this papyrus and these Egyptian letters because he was selling this. So what he made the mistake of, he sold it to this guy. He bought the old Egyptian parchment paper, I forget what they made it on, but it was like bamboo, or not bamboo, but something like that. parchment paper. What the hell is it?
Just keep in mind that 90% of this story right now might not be true. Okay, keep going, darling.
So anyway, so he got this. This is 100% true. He got this paper.
He got this baking parchment paper. Okay, and then what happened?
Papyrus. Papyrus paper.
Okay.
You shook my brain. There's all the coffee and all the raw cream coffee, organic raw cream, organic
raw.
coffee, raw, 100% raw.
Yeah, raw, like
organic,
it's going to make it for this.
Healthy, green thief. Stay with me. Papyrus paper, okay, which is made out of like, crushing the knees of young Egyptian boys, or I don't know how, I'm not 100% sure. Now that I'm not 100% sure of. But anyways, he got this old paper, old Egyptian paper, and then he did the hieroglyphics on it, right? The Egyptian hieroglyphics, and then sold it to this dealer in Boston because he was looking for it, right? But the guy, he didn't realize like how the small world it was because he did this in a hurry, and he sold it to the guy in Boston as its authentic hieroglyphic Egyptian stuff for like a few $1,000s or whatever. And he didn't realize that the guy in Boston, the dealer, how small world, was friends with the guy who sold the paper in Salt Lake City. That guy. So they were friends. So he calls the guy and blah, blah, blah. So the gig's up. And if that comes out, then he's going to know that all the stuff and all the salamander papers and all the stuff that he's trying to crush the Mormon church with is going to get found out. So then he's got to go and kill that guy. So he did. He went to go blow up that guy with a pipe bomb at his place in Salt Lake City. It's an incredible story.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right, getting back to you.
Yes, I'll get back to me because I have another forger story, which is amazing.
I believe you.
All right. Go on. Attack me again.
No, I'm not going to attack you. I'm actually very curious about this because I don't have that...
Trust?
Besides
faith?
That. Yeah.
Humanity?
No, not that.
Love of people?
No, you
trust?
know what though? No,
what?
I don't find things like collectibles, or I don't find antiques. Well, where was our little girl's voice?
She's just outside. She's running around out there.
Oh.
She heard your voice. She said, "Well, Mama."
I know. I heard that. Baby. Anyways,
you ignore it.
I don't like. No. I know. She's fine.
Wandering out. Mommy, where are you, Mommy? Mommy.
No, I know. My super cousin is watching her right now.
God bless Tia Fair.
God bless familia.
Sí, claro. So, okay.
So
you don't have...
No. I just don't have a...
interest
or attachment to yes.
I know.
But I mean, I'm impressed like how many collectors are out there.
I know,
and like, what is it that you really appreciate about things?
Well, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, like I remember the first baseball card like I ever got. It was like not a valuable card, but I never even know what a baseball card was. I was 5 years old, and then there was like this 1968 Mike Marshall San Francisco Giants, and like I was the team that my dad took me to. I swear to God, when I see it in my mind, when my dad first took me to the game, he literally sat way up on the upper deck, cheap seats, and I was like under 5, first baseball game, and I remember just looking and going like, well, this is baseball, and you just kind of learn it, and it's, I guess, going back to Gabor Mate, the Dr. Gabor Mate, it's as your brain is forming, and it becomes like hardwired, so when you like stuff, or your dad likes stuff, or your parents, it becomes hardwired to you. Like when you like food and you're a little kid, it becomes like the emotional memory attached to it as your brain is still growing.
Yeah.
So I think there was that kind of attachment to it,
Okay.
and the relationship with your father and your dad being excited. So then, if chances are, if your dad's a fan of a particular team, then you're going to be the fan of that. And so those things kind of bring back that kind of memory. So I remember also when I was like 8, 9, 10, I would go with my dad and I would collect baseball cards together. So there was that kind of thing that
Did
that,
he collect
that memory.
things?
No, but he did with me because he thought he liked me doing it. So he supported me.
Oh,
he did collect
I thought
things.
you were going to say he liked me.
He did like
Only.
me. No, but he did collect like coins
Okay, so see,
I would go with my
he
dad
was also a collector
and
then.
stamps. Yeah, he would collect coins and stuff. Never the high end stuff. He'd get like the stuff that would be like
No, but he would appreciate like things and collect them
and have a
take care of
hobby.
them.
He said it was important to have a hobby, to do things that bring you joy, and you can, as a form of meditation, which is, I guess, meditation being the focusing on one thing to the exclusion of everything else. That's the real definition of meditation.
We don't have that type of meditation in Mexico.
What do you have there?
No, seriously. Like I mean,
you don't have like a lot of people collecting stuff.
No, I think probably there are people collecting like especially most rich people would do it.
Yeah,
but I would say like medium.
Middle class.
Middle class.
They don't collect, but they must have something they find valuable. They must. I mean, everybody in their house, like if they got to, like,
no, I mean, you
think your photographs would be like or your photographs, records, or something would be most valuable. Jewelry would be something, but you like, for rich people, I would say like Steve Martin, he would probably take like if he had a Basquiat painting on his wall, he might grab that and run out the door. Even though I don't think that was a very good painter.
No, but I think what though. I think it's a different culture. To be honest,
the whole culture is different. Is it a different language? Are you going to tell me next?
Yeah, well, also it's we do have a different.
That was a great
language.
joke by Steve Martin back in the way. He said, in France, he said this in the 70s. In France, I don't know if you know this, but like chapeau means hat, and fromage means cheese. It's like these French have a different word for everything. Very silly. In 1975, if you were 10 years old in 1975, you'd laugh your ass off on that one.
No. What I'm saying is like we don't even have storage units.
Oh yeah. Well, there's definitely a hog mentality in America for stuff. It's like, and I think it's very.
But
I would say it's materialistic.
That also has to do with the collectives.
It is, but it's very materialistic. But in a weird sense, it's not materialistic because we don't really treasure material either because we fucking burn it. We destroy material. We take material and like, and,
like what? I don't understand that.
Well, like we say we trash the earth. We oil and we.
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't.
Yeah, but I think you as a country, like you are a collectors.
Well, there's. I mean, I would say like we have I mean, that's what I think like asshole cancer is like people not letting go of their shit. It's like you're gonna get asshole cancer. You gotta let go of stuff, emotional and physical too. You let go of stuff. As I've got tons of stuff all over the walls here, covering every inch of space here.
You can't see anything in his office.
I got that hat from David Letterman when the first time I ever did the show there.
No, but I get those things. Like for instance,
Robin
something
Williams
that brings a specific memory.
Yeah, but it's too much.
But it's personal. What I don't get is when somebody buys something that belonged to someone else that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's the part that I don't understand. It's like what, like if you tell me that I could buy something from, I don't know, from whoever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be interested in buying it.
You wouldn't?
No.
Like Marilyn Monroe's finger, you wouldn't be interested? If you had her finger, her real finger, if it was authenticated that this is her finger?
No. I don't like. To be honest, this is what I think.
You wouldn't want Marilyn Monroe's finger.
I don't want her finger. I don't want her anything. No. I
tried to do a sketch on that about collectibles at Saturday Night Live when I was first there, and it was like baseball, like mini. It's like there's a guy named Minnie Minoso who was a baseball player for the Chicago White Sox. Minnie Minoso's thumb, and his skull, and it's just like because these people collect a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
Like Chris Brown had a garage sale yesterday.
Oh.
Garage sale at his house. The singer, Chris Brown. And hundreds of people showed up to buy, like, his crap. Because it had celebrity on it. My dad did buy, like, I remember, like, he would go to these places and he would buy this. There's the stuff that, like, the post office has auctions. Where they just like stuff that gets lost in the mail and is never collected. There's a whole warehouse for this shit, and people go and buy it. It was like, believe it or not, it's like the dumb show Storage Wars that we used to watch while you were pregnant with our first child, and we were like, and it's like people like we're watching this just to open it up. Who cares what the hell's in there? And it was so boring that they had to fake it, and even one of the guys said, I can't do this show anymore because they're faking everything.
Oh.
But why? So they don't have storage lockers in Mexico.
No.
So people they don't hang on to their stuff. They get rid of it.
People just get rid of, They just get
if you don't need it anymore, you get rid of it.
You don't need it, you get rid of it.
Yeah. It's like
you can.
It's like paying for an apartment for your shit that you're not using.
Exactly. I don't know how many times you're paying your stuff.
Yeah.
Again
it's
and
stupid.
again and again and again.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but I gotta say, I don't like used stuff.
I don't mind like vintage clothing, like old T-shirts and stuff, as long as you wash it.
No, I don't like it. I mean, if somebody gives
I'm not into like
to me,
I don't want to wear any vintage underwear. Like, dude, these are like 1890s undies.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes from a member of my family,
yeah,
and is used, I don't mind. Like, I would wear something that belonged to my grandmother or to my mom or to my aunt or whatever. That's what we do, like we could, like pass stuff around.
Yeah. But
if I wouldn't wear anything that belonged to a stranger ever.
My favorite one was the director from The Waterboy, Frank Caracci, my buddy, and he told me, I just got this. I want this. He talks this way, believe it or not. I just got this T-shirt. Yeah, it's from the vintage store. Yeah, and I didn't wash it. I just put it on, and I got this weird rash.
Oh, God.
And I went like, okay, well, you probably should have washed it.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Like, I used to go to vintage stores.
I remember, yeah.
Because you could get stuff that, first of all, it fit me because it shrunk over 30 or 40 years. And also, like, when I didn't have a lot of money as a stand-up, you want to look up for some different kind of outfit. Yeah. I wasn't going to go buy, like, a $1,000 suit back then.
I know, but there's like a bunch of really expensive vintage clothing too.
Yeah, but that's just it. Then when I started to make money, you can buy like I can buy a Hawaiian shirt from the 1930s. Fuck yeah, how much is that? $3,000. I'll pay for that. Now they've remade all that stuff.
I know.
But people like, and first of all, like there are these old jeans, these old Levi jeans that like it took 30, 40 years for that guy to like get that perfect, fade in that one place that you would never work because he's working in these clothes and you would never get that. And if you washed it enough and it looked cool, it's like you were that guy, without actually having that look, Like I remember.
But see, you have an eye for those things. I don't.
Yeah, but like I remember like Peter Sellers is about my size, and he's my hero. Peter Sellers, the great Peter Sellers, not as a human, but like as an actor, he was the funniest guy ever. And, I have one of his suits and it fits, he only lived to be 50 and that's sad. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I guess it's an attachment and it's a thing of like, you feel like you'd be part of it or that's some great person touched this and now you touch it. Like, I have that thing, but I met Brian Wilson. The great Beach Boys genius, maybe the greatest pop, pop song artiste.
So which one is your favorite thing? Like the
Beatles to me is like, because that's like pop culture.
What's like your favorite thing that you had ever bought and said like, yes, I'm so happy I have this.
Oh, shit. I don't know. I mean, probably like... nothing that really probably when I was excited about stuff, I'm not anymore. You've kind of got me out of it. It's hard to get excited about stuff when you have like kids that you can really be truly excited about,
Yeah. When you have kids that you actually have to feed food, not autographs. Yes, I agree.
I don't know. It was pretty cool to get the star that Johnny Carson stood over for 30 years. Okay. It's right on the wall over there. That's pretty cool. The Beatles autograph I like a lot.
Okay.
But that's about it, I mean, truthfully, like the stuff, like, from the movies that I made are kind of nice to have. I don't know. I don't know if my kids would ever want it. The hat from the Waterboy over there. That one from Ridiculous Six. So this one I like a lot. It's just going on tour with Norm Macdonald and David Spade and Adam Sandler, and we each signed that thing. I stole the set list from each of the guys. And I put it in a case. I don't know, though. I mean, to me, I don't have the same affection or the same.
But what do you think it was? Do you think at some point it was like an addiction buying these things?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
It was like I do think like collecting stuff it can be, and for sure it's an addiction.
It's an addiction. I think so too.
Yeah, it's very much like people who don't have like relationships with
with
people,
humans.
they have like a pet, and the dog. I love dogs. What are you talking about? Yeah, you don't have a relationship with that dog. The dog's doing everything that you want it to do.
Yeah.
If you want to be a more interesting person, have a relationship with a person who doesn't do what you want to do. That's why all these like robots, this robot sex thing, it's never gonna, it's like it's best to be with somebody that you don't know what's gonna happen. It's a different person every day.
Yeah.
It's more interesting, and ultimately, as a human being, we want it to be more complex. Whether we want it to or not, the universe is going to make things more complex. You can decide to not engage in that complexity and shrink. But the idea is like in Zen and in Buddhism and in yoga specifically, you're either expanding or contracting every day physically. The same thing mentally. You're either expanding or contracting mentally. So it's like you have to do that. And I think a way to avoid that is to like collect shit.
Okay.
I think so because it's a
relationship with something that is material,
which is material, but it's also it's a thing, and it's like it's a temporary thing. It's like people who eat food. There's like a temporary gratification, but it's not really a deep gratification. And it's like as you realize how impermanent everything is, it seems to be nonsensical to collect after a while. So I don't collect anymore.
So you think like you got over that addiction?
I did.
Okay.
I got over that fixation, which you could describe as an addiction. But like, I also think like some of the stuff that you come up with excuses for your addiction, like, or I like to call it a fixation. Well, the kids will like it one day. No, they probably won't. Who gives a shit? Nothing lasts forever. I mean, if you think about things in that sense.
Well, especially here with fires.
I mean, if you think about things like, if once you open up your mind and what they call, ignorance is really ignorance. Ignore. What are you ignoring is making you ignorant. Okay? Like when you take a look, like if you look at like the temporariness of everything, ourselves.
Yes.
And if you take a look, like for instance, the pyramids are at their half-life. In other words, they've been around for 5,000 years. In 5,000 more years, they'll be dust. Okay? Kind of puts things in perspective. That there'll be no more proof that they ever existed in 5,000 years. They will have completely disintegrated. Just in the same way, like if you want to keep going, if you measure and do the, if you measure the distance between the moon and the earth and the separation that happens on a solar year, but it's about a centimeter, 2 centimeters that the moon continues to move away from the earth in 125 million years. That the earth, the moon will no longer be in the earth's gravitational pull, and will separate.
Why are you talking about this?
Because what it does is to realize how temporary all the shit is, and the earth will no longer have seasons anymore. That's the only thing that makes us have seasons is the pull of the moon.
Okay.
So it's like, well then fuck, if that's happening,
then why am I buying these baseball cards?
Why am I buying these fucking baseball cards? Who gives a shit? Who cares? So in that sense, you got to let go of the whole deal. But it's nice to look at the big, look at the bigger things, to make sense of the smaller things in your own life, and like.
So what was it?
What am I going to have for a sandwich now?
What was the thing that you got the most excited like for buying and you couldn't buy?
And I couldn't buy?
Yes. Like, did you... Because I remember when you used to love those auctions and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember you also were, like, doing it behind my back because I didn't... like, and you still sometimes still ask David, I want to buy you stuff. I know everything.
David Tanner, my executive producer of this show. No, but I don't buy anything anymore.
I know, but what were you so close to buying you couldn't buy it? That you were really excited about?
I don't know. There was a baseball card, but I had the money to buy it, but I didn't do it. It's like the holy grail of baseball cards, the Honus Wagner card. And it was like there's only like 8 of them, and I could have bought one, but it was $50,000.
Oh.
And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. There was one thing I wanted to buy kind of recently that I didn't tell you about.
Tell me. Okay, here it comes. The addiction again.
It was a signed Beatles album from Help. And signed by, and a woman, she actually got like a photograph of them signing it.
Oh.
So it's true.
Yes, it has
That's
to.
the proof.
That's the proof right there.
No, there's no other pictures of like a stewardess and the Beatles signing something. But anyway, so somebody took a picture, and so she had that picture. And it was like that album. I was like, oh.
And how much was that?
What do you think that was?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me think. $100,000?
$65,000. Okay. Not that reasonable.
Reasonable. That's not reasonable.
I know. I didn't buy it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything, that I think I'd rather buy a house.
Yeah, me too. See, that's the thing about me. I would say that I prefer things that I could use.
Yeah. Then hang on the wall.
Yes. Have you noticed that I have nothing?
I noticed that, the pictures I want you to blow up of the kids playing with...
No, I make albums. I do. You have them.
I'm still waiting for that other one. I think we didn't put any pictures of it because it was like it was the kids playing with a dolphin, and you didn't want to put any pictures on it because it's true. It's like it was like we were at a hotel and they had a dolphin, and then after we had the kids swim with it, and it was beautiful. We thought, you know what? It's probably not the dolphin. Probably it's his whole life, and it's a beautiful place. But still, though, it seems like the dolphin should be not in there.
It should not be there, but it's there. It's
but it is there, and we were there, and then we're like,
it was a beautiful experience for our kids.
But I don't know how beautiful it was for the dolphin. Well, but supposedly the dolphin doesn't do anything it doesn't want to do. But still, it's enclosed in this thing.
It is. But let me tell you something. Like I agree with all these people that are protecting the animals.
Yeah, I agree too.
Because we have to protect the animals.
Yeah.
But let me tell you.
Yeah.
I think for me, like this is just the humble opinion of the Mexican. Please,
I love the humble opinion of the Mexican. I was waiting.
Do not take this personal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
This is going to be good, by the way. I'm waiting for this one.
That are like
animal activists.
Animal activists. They have way too many dogs and cats. Okay, and first of all,
my friend's niece, she had 19 dogs at one point.
Okay, so
too much, ruining her house.
Yes, but not only that. I think if we are
maybe it wasn't 19, maybe it was like 9, but it sounds better to say 19.
If we're gonna protect animals and we're not gonna let them, like being in those places that are miserable, let me tell you something, people. Let me tell you something, people. Dogs also are miserable in your house. Cats are also miserable in your house. Those animals they shouldn't be in houses either. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair either. So we should stop breeding all these animals, and finally this, man created
yeah. Well, dogs
and cats.
But dogs like being in the house.
No, I don't.
What do you mean?
So. I think, to be honest, I think if they want to go for it, they should go all the way for it, and they should not allow animals in your house. It's just as mean having a dog in your house than having a bird in your house or having a hamster in your house. It's the same shit. To me, that's the humble opinion of the Mexican.
I like that. You put yourself out there. You seem very, very passionate. You seem passionate, and if I may say, gullible at that point. So, what did we learn today? What did we learn? Did we learn anything?
I would say if you love animals, don't have any.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And don't eat any.
Don't eat any and don't have any.
Don't wear any.
Don't wear any. Yes, exactly. Just protect them.
Look at them. Photograph them. That's the thing.
Love them.
I have a friend.
Love them from afar, like every other.
I have a friend who hunts animals, lions, with a camera. It was beautiful when he captures them with his lens on photograph. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to end. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I'm going to be. I got some gigs coming up. I'll be in Caroline's on Broadway. And I'm going to be actually West Palm Beach. I'm going to be in... I have not been there in many years. But supposedly, I will be performing Rob Schneider. I believe, yes, I'll be performing it. Well, if it isn't the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Friday,
22nd of November, 2019, I'll be at West Palm Beach, Florida. And surprisingly not, I will also be there Saturday, the 23rd of November. And in West Palm Beach Improv, that is Florida, one of your favorite places, darling. Florida, where all the weird shit always happens. And then you can catch me at, I'm going to be here at Irvine, California. I'm there every Thanksgiving. That's like a thing now. I was there last year, the year before, and now this year at the Thanksgiving at the Irvine Improv. So it's a theater more than it is a comedy club now. It's huge and it's great. And that's going to be the Thanksgiving weekend. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, November 29 and 30, and then Sunday, December 1st. Unbelievable. And then we're going to be performing together.
Yes.
You have not done it that many times. Do you like performing live?
It was fun. Yeah.
Okay, because we're gonna be December 7th in Lakeville at the Cove Haven Resort, and I want to apologize to everybody for having to move it, but now we'll be back there December 7th, and we're going to be in Sellersville, the Sellersville Theater, December 6th. That's in Pennsylvania. Both those are in Pennsylvania. And then New Year's will be at the Chicago Improv, Schaumburg. Chicago Improv, Schaumburg. That's going to be the 27th, 28th, 29th. And that'll be fun. So what did we... So where can people get hold of you, sweetheart?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at I am Patricia Maya.
Beautiful.
Yes. And
But your YouTube?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel where I cook easy and healthy-ish recipes.
I know. I like the healthy-ish.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for listening, and we're going to be... we won't skip any more weeks, we promise. And then you can check...
Unless there's another fire.
Unless there's another fire, which will definitely happen in California. California, the abusive relationship that is the state of California. Anyway, so thanks for checking it out, because when you do, you can see what happens. It's Rob Schneider. And
Patricia Maya.
See you next time. Bye.